the insurance. I wouldn't even go try to explain how is it that a hurricane could have hit those targeted grids in such a precise manner. And he mentioned that this is the second most powerful hurricane in the history. But I think they did some new research, and it is
Right.
telling us that it is the most powerful because
The most powerful.
it had wind speed of some 200 miles an hour.
252 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what we are looking at is for this to have taken place. If you were looking at probability, I mean, this would be like one in a million, gazillion.
Yeah. Everything had
A
to.
gazillion
Yeah.
chance
Yes.
that all of these parameters would have fallen into place for you to be able to know cash out 100% of the payout that was slated to be paid out.
Yeah. Everything had to be on par.
Mhm.
It had to be so perfect.
Mhm.
It is similar to when people tell you about evolution.
Yes.
That this is why we cannot believe evolution.
Right.
Because everything had to be perfect in order for evolution to take place. Everything had to fall in place. Now, this thing that happened in St. Elizabeth is by intelligent design.
Yes.
They designed it.
It's not by chance.
It's not by chance. They designed it and they went ahead and they completed it.
Yes.
So that it would fit exactly what they require. Because remember, they tell us that Jamaica has to be a digital society, and we have to move very quickly and very rapidly to be a digital society, and that we have to make a new city in St. Elizabeth. And in order to make this new city in St. Elizabeth,
Yes.
you cannot be refurbishing old buildings, and you have to start from scratch.
You have to bring in the demolition
And you
crew.
have to bring in the demolition crew,
Yes.
so that when you are ready to begin, nobody will come to you and say, "Boy, you can't break down the building there because all of the brick were imported from England."
From England,
Or you
yes.
can't demolish this building because
Yes.
this is the way the first electricity was in Jamaica.
Yeah.
You destroy everything. You say, "Well, let us blame it on the hurricane."
Right.
It is the hurricane that causes. So we are now going to build a city
Yes.
that is resilient, that is different, that cannot be compared to any that is in the area,
And that is smart.
and that is smart. Smart. As a matter of fact, AI
Yes.
is going to be in charge of it
Right.
in real time.
Right.
AI will be the city
Yes.
in real time.
And then when you think about it in a neighborhood, all those that the hoops that you have had to the protests and everything,
Right.
to remove a tree, to remove these what we call it, monument
Yes.
and sites and so on.
Right.
A lot
I'm the supervisor for topographic data management. Today we're here in Black River, and my team and I we're mapping the entire town and its environs as well. We're doing it for, well, for recovery purposes as well as to find those government lands that can be used as a part of the recovery planning process.
For the average Jamaicans, what does that mean?
Well, for the average Jamaicans, what it means is that the government, through the arm of the National Land Agency, is trying to find those lands that are within the area that was affected, that can be used to whether to house persons who are displaced or for new industries, for whatever purposes it is that the government wants, based on what the plans are going forward to Black River, then those lands can be used for those purposes.
If Jamaicans want to get more information on the plans, future plans based on your evaluation, how can they go about this investigation?
Okay, well, based on what needs to be done, the parish council, which would be the Black River Parish Council, they will be the ones who would lead that process, but also the government, from the perspective of the local government ministry, would also play a part, and also the ODPEM, because they are in charge of the whole recovery process as well. Yeah.
Anthony, you,
All right.
you
I'm
just
Captain
said
Williams.
that immediately the men went into the area.
Yes, man.
Immediately these men went into the
Quickly,
area.
rapidly.
Quickly, rapidly, they
Yes.
went into the area.
Yeah.
This Captain Williams.
Yes.
You notice he's a captain of the army.
Well, I think it's Chaplin. I think his first name is
Chaplain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something close.
Yeah.
Chaplin.
Chaplain Williams.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Not a captain.
Oh, it's not
But
a captain. Chaplain.
He's a supervisor.
Yes, of the
There-
National Land Agency.
Right.
And I went in to map the area.
Yes, man.
To map the area. So when he went in to map the area,
Mhm.
what is he mapping for? What is he looking for?
Well-
Certainly, this area is an area that this was a capital of Jamaica,
Mhm.
and this is an area that already housed a lot of businesses.
Mhm.
And so the mapping wasn't necessary because that was done already why it became the capital,
Mhm.
and then it was there and businesses were there. So you went in after the fact now,
Mhm.
so that you can know how to begin afresh.
Yes.
Because the area is now set up so that you can start the process.
Right, definitely. So listen to and it speaks to the speed at which all of this is being implemented.
Yes.
So much so that, I mean, think about if it was an act of God.
Yeah.
I want us to
Yeah.
think of whether if this was an act of God, then you would have had some amount of empathy, sympathy. Think about the business owners who would have lost, quite a lot. Think about those residents that have been displaced and
Yes.
so on. So I think the emphasis would have been on trying to provide some sort of assistance to these persons, because it would have been an act of God, no so?
Yeah.
And so everybody would empathize, sympathize. But what is happening is that the government is wasting no time in implementing their agenda.
That's right.
For you to send persons in to do mapping of
Yes.
the area, it
Immediately
speaks to,
after.
yeah, it speaks to, and he said that he wanted to find lands to
Yeah.
house and lands for development in terms of infrastructure and so on. Now, if this was an act of God, then this would not be happening so rapidly.
So quickly.
Yeah.
Rapidly. Listen.
Yes.
Listen to this one though, Anthony. Listen to this one. This will tell us why this is happening now.
The government will therefore establish the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, a statutory body with special powers to lead, coordinate, fast track, and oversee national reconstruction, reporting directly to the Office of the Prime Minister. The NARA will focus on building back better, safer homes, climate resilient infrastructure, better land use planning, relocation from high-risk zones, and taking the opportunity to introduce new industries and new businesses to areas that previously had no economic base. There is national and international precedents for this approach. It has been used in large-scale disasters, for example, in New Orleans in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina, in Canterbury, New Zealand after the Christchurch earthquake in 2011, and also in Japan in 2011 after the earthquake and tsunami. In Jamaica too, Prime Minister Pattison established the Office of National Reconstruction after Hurricane Ivan. The ONR, as it was called, was set up as a special unit to coordinate relief and reconstruction. It was not established by an act of Parliament. The NARA will be much larger in scope, obviously, and scale, and established under special purpose legislation. Given the extraordinary powers that will be sought to expedite reconstruction, the NARA will be set up with a sunset date of 5 years, renewable by Parliament. So we're not seeking to have this established forever. It is a time-bound exercise, and it has to be time-bound so that we can actually meet the recovery and reconstruction. If you leave it unbounded, people will believe that they have forever to achieve the targets. The authority's administrative expenditure will be financed from the national budget as other agencies are. However, recovery and reconstruction activities will be financed initially from the National Natural Disaster Recovery Fund, the NNDRF. The NNDRF was set up to receive the proceeds of Jamaica's disaster risk instruments, including Jamaica's catastrophe bond, policies with the Caribbean Catastrophe Reinsurance Facilities, CRIF, and various credit contingent claims with the IDB and the World Bank. These amounts will total approximately $650 million US.
Wow. Anthony, you heard the section that it says Build Back Better. He set up these agencies. It seemed like the plan was already there. You did the research, you look at everything, you look at what was done in other countries, you look at what former prime ministers did, and you look at the scope of what is happening, and then you want to build something there. But putting all of this aside, he said something that people in St. Elizabeth should probably demonstrate about. He said that Black River, the environment, and he spoke about economic. There was no economic activity. That in certain areas there were no economic activities taking place. But he was speaking about the destruction of that particular area. So there were no economic activities that were taking place in Black River.
Well,
Black River was not growing economically.
I mean, it's a great area. It's a great area. Seeing the fact that as you mentioned, building back better, and the fact that he had gone there in July of this year and said that he's going to build a unique city.
Right.
So maybe the economic activity that he's speaking about is the type that comes with this unique smart city.
Smart city.
And so so when you build back this way, and notice that the person before who gave us the whole idea of the grid system says that the cat bond, the proceed from that will allow him to speed up the building and recovery. And then he was saying that, and then the prime minister come out and say, well, I mean, that's what the cat bond. And he has a time limit. Remember we were talking about a time limit? He has a time limit, and he's saying that the sunset, man, I hope it's not a BL situation. I hope it's not BL.
It's while the sun is shining. So you worship BL that sun.
So he says that the timeline for the building and so on of this infrastructure would span a period. Once I 30, everyone knows Jamaica has to be 20 years. Period. So one and
And Jamaica.
the previous executive director
Right.
of the Office of
ADPEM.
Disaster
Yes.
Preparedness. Yeah.
Right. He is now at UNDP.
He's the head.
Yes, he is the head of disaster risk reduction and recovery crisis bureau. And
at the United Nations.
Right, at UNDP, the United Nations disaster. It's UNDP, right? And the United Nations have sent him to Jamaica. Sent a Jamaican to Jamaica to ensure that the work of the United Nations is carried out. Can you imagine?
I think last week or the week before we told you that well, the Prime Minister in introducing all of these things, he was saying that he has what do you call it, appointed army personnel in charge of the disaster preparedness.
Right.
Or the ADPEM. I'm trying to things are moving so rapidly. It's difficult to keep up.
Difficult to keep up.
Yeah, but he said that the army is now in charge of.
Yeah, man. Alvin Gale. Yes.
Yeah, he's in charge of ADPEM.
Operating out of the Prime Office of the Prime Minister.
Right.
And another army man is permanent secretary.
Yeah.
Rakim.
Right.
Yes.
And then he said that the United Nations now, the team, the top team of experts, came to Jamaica. They were having meetings with, he said, the private sector and civil society and so on. And then he says that, coming out of all of this, the technical know-how would be transferred to ADPEM. So it simply means that the UN is currently in charge.
Is in charge.
Based on the signing of the pact for the future with the World Health Organization.
That's right.
So any major disaster that, for example, like a Category 5 that we experienced, then the UN would come in and they would make the decisions.
That's right.
So this gentleman that is now going to be speaking,
Ronald Jackson,
he is working for the United Nations. So he's the head personnel.
The head of disaster risk reduction and the recovery crisis bureau, coming directly from the United Nations. And this is a Jamaican, and I don't even know what to think of him, of the whole thing as yet, because you would send somebody familiar with the area, somebody that people trust, because of the work that this man used to do, and let us listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, and one of the reasons for sending in this Jamaica is you have a time constraint.
Yes.
So you have 2 years, and remember now Jamaica is supposed to be the global leader, the global example.
Yes.
And if you were listening to the speech that the Prime Minister gave at the G20 meeting recently, in South Africa, then you would understand. Jamaica is a global leader in small island states.
Yes.
And so the world is looking to Jamaica as to how they are able to put together this the smart or the digital economy.
Yes.
And that is why now you would want to get somebody to come in from the UN who can hit the ground running. So they would have known, the ins and outs of Jamaica and how to do things. So that is why,
Ronald Jackson.
it is such a
Yeah.
coincidence. I'm telling you, it's a coincidence
Was
that
it
this
planned,
man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so for those who are saying
Yeah.
that, man, this thing is an act of God. You need to go back and read the
Yeah,
Bible.
man.
You
Yeah,
don't have
man.
a clue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And now what they are doing, what they have done,
Yeah.
except with this, especially this one.
Yes.
Listen to this one.
Really would. And if you're not doing preventative maintenance, which is also part of one of the lessons from going into the field, where we don't maintain, then you also have this problem. Right? So you put a good roof on, but you have to maintain it at a particular point in time, or else you're going to lose it down the line. So your job now is to do what? You are here to? So I'm on two assignments. One is to support our UNDP office here with rolling out a package which we've put together to jumpstart the recovery efforts. Recovery starts
Hold
at
on,
day zero,
hold on.
and there's some early
Hold on. All right. So if you listen to the press briefings of the Prime Minister, you would have thought that it was the Prime Minister's office under which Hardpen
Yeah.
resides
Mm-hmm.
that is actually doing the planning
Right.
and implementation of the recovery, and also the construction, the future construction of this smart city. But if you are listening to this UN personnel that is here, the chief person
Right.
from the UN,
Ronald Jackson.
that is now,
Yeah.
given the task of overseeing the recovery of Jamaica.
Yes.
If you listen to what he just said, he says that he has two main agenda
Yes.
to get done.
Right.
First, and if you can rewind a bit
Yeah.
so that we can hear exactly what these two tasks
That he has.
and whether or not these have anything to do with inputs
Yes.
from the Jamaica government.
Right.
So listen to what
Right.
he's saying.
Let's listen, because this is important. Though we signed the pact
Mm.
with 190 other countries. If there is a disaster in Jamaica of any proportion, the United Nations will step in and take control. So as Anthony was saying, that it is not the Prime Minister is running Jamaica. Jamaica is being run from the outside the United Nations in this area. So let us hear it again. So, Ronald Jackson speaking.
Really would. And if you're not doing preventative maintenance, which is also part of one of the lessons from going into the field, where we don't maintain, then you also have this problem. Right? So you put a good roof on, but you have to maintain it at a particular point in time, or else you're going to lose it down the line. So your job now is to do what? You are here to? So I'm on two assignments. One is to support our UNDP office here with rolling out a package which we've put together to jumpstart the recovery efforts. Recovery starts at day zero, and there's some early interventions that need to happen, like debris removal, which we're spinning up into a cash for work program for some of the people who are without livelihoods at the moment. And there are a number of other projects we will move through. We're looking also at a roof starter kit program, and that's going to come on stream hopefully pretty soon. But the other part of my remit is to try to support the resident coordinator of the UN, who represents the SG in country, with a system-wide coordinated response to the recovery efforts. So that's my remit. Which will include how we rebuild? How we rebuild, one of the things we're trying to work on is not just a recovery plan, which outlines the priority sectors for intervention, but to marry that with a spatial plan as well, because we have to do some things differently. We just have to do some things differently. And I think the sentiment is there amongst the populace. We have to have a national alliance to to change the path of our development, right? It's an opportunity to reset. This is attributed to you, and you've mentioned some of this before. You said the benchmarks for reconstruction mean changing how Jamaica conceives and invests in resilience. Resilience is not just about an individual, it's a system. Explain that, please. Well, I mean, we often look at the people, and we as Jamaicans, we strive through everything, we survive things, and we bounce back and we keep going. But it's not about just the people. We have to put institutional systems, mechanisms in place that buttress an individual, right? When one section fails, the other fails over and takes up the pressures on one system. So it's a system response that is required, not just an individual, right? I mean, if you're looking at it at the community level, it's not just one individual in the community, it's the entire community. That then goes into the municipality and so forth and so on. And then the national mechanism needs to also be there to buttress ecosystem. It's an ecosystem. Resilience came from the ecosystem. Right. I mean, when one part of an ecosystem had a shock, other parts of the ecosystem took up the load and sustained that ecosystem. And similarly, we need to react in the same way.
So, Ronald, based on what you've seen, and within the context of everything you've outlined, when do you see us starting to turn the corner on this?
Well, look, it's not going to be a short run. We have to bear that in mind. It's a long-term effort. We have to take the first step there. We need to have a 0 to 6 months plan that is dealing with all of the immediate interventions that are required and setting the groundwork for the medium to long term. There are lots of things that will have to happen if we are serious about changing the fortunes of those who have been impacted. And it's not just the half of the island that was impacted. We have to also look at the next half of the island, because had it come through its original path, I fear that we would be seeing something worse than what we've seen now in really? Losses. Absolutely. I mean, before you had rains in Kingston, right? I mean, I saw the news. I keep in touch a little bit in terms of what's going on here, and you had significant flooding in the streets of Kingston. We still have informal major trace of the infrastructure would have been significantly worse. We were national unity with society. Looking at where we might find no-bill zone.
And so the night they just say, any little thing that happen, I'm coming to take over your country. He says the mechanism must be put in place, and it has municipalities. The municipalities. We call them parish councils. So the parish council is very close to the area, and it is at the parish council level that you have councillors. Councillors know every single person who living in the area because they're supposed to live in the area, and it is a long-term effort, which means that it is a sustained effort, but it begins at a certain part, at a certain place, and it will continue on through. So Jamaica itself is being reset.
Yeah.
Jamaica itself is
Yeah,
being
yeah,
reset.
he said that it's a reset. But the part that gets me is that so they ask him, so he has two main goals,
Right.
to deliver. So he's looking at the reconstruction,
Yes.
the roofs, and he's saying that
Right.
we're going to be moving from certain sort of buildings.
Yes.
So we're looking at a different modes of housing.
Yes.
I'm not sure if this
Yes.
includes the container housing that Andrew is talking about.
Yeah.
And then he's looking at now building in terms of the smart cities and so on. Then he mentioned at the back end that there are negotiations that has to be taking place in terms of relocating persons, and this is important. Relocating
Right.
persons. He says that persons have had been a part of maybe an ecosystem for
Right.
a number of years,
With a
and
culturally
it might
attached. Yes.
it might be difficult to relocate them.
Right.
Now, this would take place in terms of what we see happening in Black River.
Yes.
So those businesses and persons who live in the environment, they might have to be relocated.
Remember,
And
we
this
went to
involves
the
the negotiations.
Right.
So we are
Yeah.
seeing that
Whoa.
the persons who are actually
Goodness.
planning and implementing, and look at it, it's not a month after the hurricane, when the hurricane comes, October,
28th of October.
right? I mean, and all of this is already
Taking place already.
It reminds me of 9/11,
Mm.
when those so-called planes hit the towers, and immediately after that you had this law that came out.
I believe
the
they're using.
Patriots
Yeah, I believe they're using that playbook. The 9/11 playbook. They're using.
Well, the Bible tells us that they will be working miracles.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
using that.
to deceive the entire world.
You said when you said that, and he said that he is here to support the UNDP office in Jamaica. And so the US UNDP office in the United Nations office in Jamaica, where I deal with that, has been in charge all along. So they have been passing on the information to Andrew Holness. So when they went out and go to open his mouth, it is not him.
He's the PR.
He is the PR. He has now been reduced to the to being just a PR, not a prime minister.
Let's hear what the word said.
Yeah, listen.
So we need to understand
Yeah.
what is taking place.
I roll it back just a little bit.
Yes.
I can't catch it back.
Long term. There are lots of things that will have to happen if we are serious about changing the fortunes of those who have been impacted. And it's not just the half of the island that was impacted. We have to also look at the next half of the island, because had it come through its original path, I fear that we would be seeing something worse than what we've seen now. Absolutely. I mean, you had rains in Kingston, right? I mean, I saw the news. I keep in touch a little bit in terms of what's going on here in the streets of Kingston. We still have informal settlements along the banks of many of those major drainage ways, the infrastructure. So it could have been significantly worse. So it will require, again, national unity. Every member in the society will have to pull behind the country taking a new path and looking at where we need to identify no-build zones and to ensure that those are gazetted and are maintained as no-build zones, and where we look at different forms of housing solutions. It's not going to be easy, because it's also going to be acquiring land. There are issues around titling. There is the people who we now need to convince that they need to move. It's not simple. They're culturally connected to some of the places they've been for 20 years, 30 years. So there's a lot of negotiations that has to take place, but we should lean into that and to try to move forward to a different opportunity. Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you both. That's fair.
You see this last part there, so this tells us that the Jamaican society has now gone to the level of a dictatorship. He says that every member of society must comply. They must unite. You say you must come together. You must comply. I take it to mean that there is to be no dissenting voices. Nobody to disagree with what the government is doing. Remember, we looked at the Samoa Agreement. And the Samoa Agreement says once you disagree with the government, then you have now moved into the realm of a terrorist. And so once you disagree with anything that is being done, and you come out and openly speak about it, then you are regarded as a terrorist. And so with the UNDP, running Jamaica, he made a point of talking about the culturally attached to the area. The UNDP people, the UN, they come from outside of Jamaica. They're not culturally attached to anywhere.
He's talking about the persons who live in areas that they need to be relocated from. So for example, in Black River, and those coastal regions, in order to take back, because if you're going to build a smart city on the south coast, then you have certain persons who are now going to be, moving into that vicinity, and therefore the peasants that occupies those prime spots along the coast, they would have to be relocated, make way for the elites. So what he's saying is that those who are, culturally attached, been there for years, you need now to have a new mindset and move on. But then you ask the question now, Nebert, what is all of this? Why is it that all of this needs to be done? The Bible tells us that there's a gathering, that the whole world is being gathered to fight against the Creator God.
Yes.
Revelation 16. The Prime Minister said that technology, the smart cities, the new technology, the new infrastructure where technology is concerned is liberating.
Right.
But we are understanding that now this is controlling.
Exactly.
And it reflects what Revelation 13 speaks about, the mark of the beast system.
That's right.
The control will be as such that you will not be able to buy or sell without their consent. Now, listen to what the Prime Minister at a press conference spoke about.
The Journalist has announced that there will be a transition of these services from food deliveries to a voucher system.
You can't carry this on forever or for too long. At some point, we will go a voucher or a coupon system where instead of the bag of relief items, you will get something that is equivalent cash, and you can go to your nearest shop in your area where you will stock and supply them, and you get your items.
In addition, he stated that a plan to equip businesses with the recommended assets to accommodate this system will be rolled out shortly.
To do that, we have to stand up those shops. We have to provision them, give them the connection. So we're working on that, and in the coming weeks, you will start to see that plan come to fruition, so that for the foreseeable future of the next few months, there is an effective and robust system to deliver relief as we pivot to recovery.
That was Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness speaking yesterday at a special press briefing. Now, opposition spokesperson on health.
Whoa, Anthony. I always find it so very amusing, and amusing in a sad way, because they said that they are going to be outfitting shops to ensure that they always have electricity. Right, electricity and internet. So if there is power outage, they have to be given generators. So they must always have the electricity and the internet, because they are the ones who are going to be given this voucher or coupon system. And he made a point to say that it is not cash, it is a voucher coupon is something that is near cash. And so if they are going to be given generators and internet, it means that it has to be digital coupon and a digital voucher. So when he says that Jamaica is moving very quickly and very rapidly into this system, it is because he says that it is just in a few months, the next few months, that this has to be accomplished.
Right. So why you're looking for this one? Because this one explains even better GIS system wants to implement um, GIS system to implement should have the government and the UN to technology.
Pleased to report.
And so we're seeing now why he was cautioning us not to be afraid of technology, because the technology is going to be fully controlled.
Yes.
That I have seen improvements in the functioning of ADPEM. They were tasked to do a few things. One of them would be to strengthen their inventory management system, to put a system in place that delivers real-time information. They are well down the wicket with that through support from our Information Technology Authority. And the objective of that, the end objective of that, is to answer calls and support the whole idea of transparency. So eventually, and when I say eventually, very soon, as soon as the system is up and running, then we will be able to publish for the public to see what came in as donations and what went out as in terms of their usage and who were the beneficiaries. So the public will be able to see in real time what is the status of donations. That gives confidence to the public. It gives confidence to our donors as well. In these matters, there should be nothing secret. Unless a donor country says, we don't want anyone to know what we have given you, which is highly unlikely and has not happened. But we want everybody to know. So we have to put a system in place, one that is reliable, and one that operates in real time, and one that is on time. And so ADPEM is working towards having this inventory management system in place. I've also instructed ADPEM to develop full situational awareness of the disaster space. One of the challenges that we have had, not just with this disaster, but with several other disasters, and that is as a result of the very high level of informality in Jamaica, is that sometimes there are communities that we simply don't know. They're not on the map. We know them traditionally by word of mouth. Informally, they are named and described, but you can't geographically identify them on a map. And as a result of that, there may very well be communities that are not served in the disaster response. And so I've brought together, under ADPEM's coordinating responsibility under law, all the GIS systems supported by the Geospatial Data Management branch of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, to pull together all our GIS information, that is our geographical information systems, so that we can see, for example, where are all our schools, where are all our police stations, where are all our shops, where are all our, we've mentioned community centers, where are electrical installations, so that you can plan properly and be able to respond. So that is underway. The next time that Commander Gale reports, he should be able to give an update as to where these systems are, how they are being developed, and how they are being used in the disaster response. So we've brought together NWA, NEPA, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the JDF, I believe the JCF is also a part of it, but we intend to bring in all GIS information, have it coordinated in one central database so that we're properly able to respond. I'm pleased to report that I have seen.
Oh, Anthony, this is so not real. This one, I don't look at this as the information that is given out of this has been real, because of the fact that we have just voted. Jamaica, the country has just gone through an election, and so all of the MPs, all of the councillors would have gone into every community, and they would have engaged the persons who are living in all of these communities. Yet they say that there are communities that they don't know how to, they don't know where they are, they don't know where the schools are, they don't know where the shops are, they don't know where the community centers are, they don't know where the police stations are, they don't know where any of these things are. So they have to do some geo mapping, the geographical information system, they're mapping the area, and they are doing it through NWA, NEPA, JCF, all of the agencies they're bringing together to ensure that they can understand where everybody is, so that the level of control that they would want to meet out to these systems, to these areas, can be done. Anthony.
That's the one. There's a system that is now being used in the United States. It's called FLOCK, Flux OS, and they dubbed it the B system.
Yes.
They track and trace everybody in real time, and this is especially used for motor vehicles and so on. But it is integrated in the other systems that is controlled by AI, and monitors the movement of everyone. When you think about the GIS system that the Prime Minister speaks about, where every single shop in the island, these little corner shops, the big supermarkets, the corner shops, would be monitored in real time. It means that once you present whatever they give you, the system that is called the voucher, or the system that is near cash, system, you go to the corner shop and you present it, and your information is updated real time. Not only the information about what you were given in terms of the aid supply, but also your location is given, that this person shops here, and therefore you are now being curtailed to a particular geographical location. And once you move outside of that location, whatever the voucher, the digital ID system will not work. You know what I mean? So we need to understand what is taking place. I don't know if you can play that one.
The one with the beast.
Listen to this first, and then as we close.
I will never return to that beautiful land that we once knew it. I will never return to that beautiful land that we once knew it. Listen this carefully. Jamaica will never return to that beautiful land that we once knew it. Never be the same again, because what Vision 2030 will roll out is new smart cities, digital ID, and carbon monitoring of all of its residents by 2030. That's ridiculous. Like I said, do your research on this. Don't be fooled by the images you are seeing and think it's a natural disaster. Something is not right here. 2030 is 5 or 4 years away, and there's a lot of work to be done between now and then. And also, while you're doing your research, look at the other countries which are being completely flattened and devastated. And then do your reference work and look at Vision 2030 and see whether or not those natural disasters seem a bit odd. Listen this carefully.
So Jamaica will never return.
Jamaica, yes. And they have been telling us.
And so we only have a small window.
Yes.
Nebert. One other thing about this is, we're looking at it from a biblical perspective, and we recognize that the fulfillment of Revelation 13 and that no man by ourselves, save ye that has the mark. Yeah. That system is now up and running, and like the United Nations says, the gentleman that spoke, who is the head of the UN mission here in Jamaica,
yes,
he says that the planning and implementation phase, you have to give it about 6 months, and then once they start to roll, that's it. Everybody has to fall in place.
Yes.
We see the infrastructure, we see everything being put in place. And think about that, all of this, all that the Prime Minister has said, everything that they are implementing, is just a matter of 3 weeks since the hurricane, and everything is in place.
Everything is the fastest I've ever seen anything.
When you talk about real time. Real time, your purchases is going to be updated real time on a database that have globally you have access to. It means that Jamaica is already tied into the global system. That means your ID, your digital ID, once you're part of that, you are tied into a system that can track.
Sure.
All right.
So this is the system. Yeah, so this is the system.
You just don't run under your nose, or not really under your nose. You will, right in front of your face, right in front of your face, and everybody's cool with it because it's a good thing, right? Well, it's like a Pandora's box. There's good things, but we also open a big door. They wouldn't have to search through databases, so to speak. So, it had PC, but just in case they say, well, he was being targeted or anything, I didn't lie. I didn't not put something in there to show that it was an intel thing. Because I knowing that it was one of those, I was very careful on that stuff.
Traveling inside the state of Texas is not illegal. It's not illegal to drive from one city to another and back the next day.
Where our cars are is where we are. Where our cars are is where our family is. Where our cars are is what we're doing and who we're doing it with. These surveillance systems do not make communities safer. They make community members more threatened.
All right,
This
so
problem is only going to get worse and worse.
yes,
I'd like to see this be illegal for proactive policing. These databases, if they exist, need to be locked down. It shouldn't be a free-for-all on all the citizens' personal data. I used to think if you're not hiding anything, you have nothing to be worried about. If you didn't do anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. And now I know that even if you did nothing wrong, you still have something to worry about.
Okay, sir. We're done. And then your warning.
All right, so clearly, you know, all this is under the guise of public safety and keeping you safe from bad guys, right? Except when they cast a net, they pull in everybody. They're getting information from everybody, right? So you could potentially get caught up in something. Now, as this develops, eventually, this is going to be a fully AI-driven thing, right? One more little clip from this lawyer who's brought up a couple of cases. Here's one of a woman that got pulled out of her car with her kids, little kids, on hot pavement because her car was coming back stolen. It was all AI told them this was going. Her car was tracked and everything. They treated her like a criminal in this. And by the way, this is not just tracking cars. That's a misnomer. This thing is.
Wow, and this is what the digital system do. This is when we want to know the geographical information of everywhere, everybody, so that we can know who lives where and what, so that you can put the level of control on each and every individual. And the Prime Minister says that the AI is going to work in real time.
Yeah.
And so you put all of this information, so the AI will come back and say this person's a criminal, this is not, but it has a way of malfunctioning of people even putting in the wrong information about individuals and things.
So it hallucinates. So to close, Nebert, I hope our listeners, and you know, must apologize to the viewers online. It's beyond our control, and unless we have a Starlink, I don't think we'll be able to get this thing to work as efficiently as we thought.
We are on, but we had to do it again. So the other persons were kicked off before.
I think maybe when you think about the technologies that we have now, and to look at the fact that they're trying to move this into a smart city, smart grid, a cashless society, you know, and with all the kinks and bumps and all of that we have to deal with now, how are you going to survive in a system where you will not be able to have cash? So if the grid goes down, what do you do? How do you survive and all of these things? You know, the Bible tells us that the fool has said in his heart, there is no God.
Yes.
And so the systems that are being put together now and are being developed, they are godless systems. And you know, the foolishness of God confounds the wise.
Yes. And
so we have to you know, look at what is happening, awake out of sleep, because this is the time our redemption is drawing nigh.
Yes, I believe so. I hope that you understand some of the things that we were trying to bring across tonight, so that as we go through this last half of the history of this world, then we can know to put our houses in order. If you have not done so as yet, you need to establish a relationship with God and keep it at that level. If you are having a relationship with God, you need to have it deeper and stronger and firmer, because we are at the place now where everything is coming to an end, and our Lord Jesus Christ is soon to put in his appearance. You heard Anthony presenting to you from Revelation chapter 16 and giving this information. This is happening right now in real time, that Satan is doing in real time. This is happening right now. And so we should understand that we are on the very verge of eternity. And so our houses must indeed be ready because our Lord Jesus Christ is coming.
Yes. When you look at the evidences that were presented tonight, and then you might be saying that all of these are coincidences. But the whole idea of 9/11 teaches us that it was all planned. And then what we saw um, with Job, we saw the plan, and so on. So we need to, make up our minds to stick and stay with our Creator.
Yes.
And to give Him our allegiance.
Yes.
Let us pray. Loving Father, we are thankful that You would have given us this privilege again one more time to be able to present the information as it relates to the fulfillment of the prophetic events. You warned us to stay away from the mark of the beast system. Now that it is here, we pray, Lord, for strength and for the overcoming power to be able to be separated from this system. We ask that You will bless us, keep us, and preserve us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. 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 Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We invite you to join us again tomorrow morning and Thursday morning between the hours of 7 to 9 a.m. when we will be back to discuss with you. For this week, we're going to do some deep studies in the Bible of the end time, and we are going to be revealing to you some of the things that is necessary for you to know to make your calling and election sure. Thank you so very much for being a part of the program tonight. Thank you very much for your company. Have a safe rest of night. Thank you.